Nerf Doomlands Vagabond review. Spider-Benjamin Miller finally back at it again with another review. Sorry these are coming out bi-weekly lately. Trying to get a very confident system going before I kind of bring back the reviews more often. But got some new ones, and especially...
No, we want more.
Shut up! As Mythical Spider over there really loves it, and I feel like Web War JP was about to Avada Kedavra at him.
No, he was just gonna Leviosaur me.
Oh no. He's got the wand now, folks. What's he gonna do? Sorry for that little inconvenience. Mythical Spider is still very much alive. Harry Potter does not exist yet, but it shall. But I'm not really happy with HBO's recent announcement of a total reboot. But external overview of the Nerf Vagabond. This is from the Doomlands series. This is perhaps my favorite Doomlands blaster. External overview, no end strike barrel lug, but you do have one open hole to where the dart fires. These are no functional barrels, and these aren't really how you load them. They are a little bit, but now back to the cylinder. This is a 6-round rotating cylinder that could be front loaded just as simple. But something funny that I found out with Mythical Spider is you can actually go to what hole it is and drop it in. Now, it doesn't actually load the barrel, and like right there, it just kind of stuck out. But if you hold it straight, drop the dart, it does go in there. You just have to give it a little push. But it's actually pretty funny. It's a nice little system. And down here, we do have the priming handle to prime. You do that. The prime stroke itself is actually pretty smooth. It's doing a little bit more because it's kind of rotating the cylinder. Well, actually, no. It feels not as smooth as something like a strong arm. That's only because you are dealing with a bigger system that is kind of also doing a lot more. But it's as smooth as it can be, and it's just smooth enough for me. Up above, we do have a tactical rail if you need to have a scope on your shotgun, which without a stock and with that you're trying to aim, that's not really going to work. But as you see here, it is translucent. It was the whole thing with the Doomland series, is you actually see everything working inside. And now back to the trigger. The trigger pull is pretty nice. This blaster does have slam fire, meaning you could hold down the trigger, and when you prime and return, it automatically fires. And of course, one trigger pull rotates the system instead of something like the hammer shot. When you prime it, it rotates. But this just works on the system where you prime it and pull the trigger and it rotates. And now back to the grip. The grip is actually surprisingly very comfy. It has a unique feel to it because you're not really supposed to use this like an actual rifle. You're supposed to more shoot this from the hip like you would an actual shotgun. Even though, for me, when I use this, I honestly feel like I'm using a rough cut a little bit. It's shaped very similarly to a rough cut, except the priming handle would have to be up here and you would have to be a longer prime. This is just a smaller, easier prime. And then, of course, we do have a sling mount. That is an external overview of the Nerf Vagabond. Now I'll show you it fired. First, classic hip fire, and starting out with leak darts. That seems fun. I feel like you just gotta go. Now, X-Nade hip fires, I just try to shoot this more like how I feel like I would feel more comfortable shooting it. Man, I hate leak darts. Now they slam fire, but from the hip. A little bit of pickups, but not too bad. Now I got no more accurate flavor. With a dart zone, waffle head dart. And it hit the target, but still accurate. Now just some slam fire for the wells, even though I don't think he's really gonna hit anything. didn't even hit him.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Overall, firing this thing is a very fun time. This blaster is a very fun one to shoot. It's very cool to hip fire with this thing. You just feel really cool as you're just rattling off shots. But it's also just a fun experience because the Doomlands, I personally love the Doomlands series. It's pretty fun. It's probably not on like my top 5 list, but it's definitely up there as a really good series. They didn't make too many blasters, which stinks. Especially they made perhaps my favorite Doomlands blaster. If I were to ever get more Doomlands, I could probably do a top 5 video in the future. But of course, from the firing demo, as you saw, these things performed very well. And of course, you may notice they didn't like, the whole joke was with the target. I was aiming for the target, but this is a very hard blaster to aim, which is kind of my only like gripe with this thing. Like hip firing is a little more accurate to do. This is a little bit tricky because also there aren't really iron sights on this thing. So this thing really does demand for you to shoot it from the hip. But that is all the objective information I can provide on this blaster. Now to my personal opinion. Overall, I really love the Vagabond. It's like I said, it's my favorite Doomlands blaster. It's a very cool, like, shotgun. Like, I honestly probably prefer this over the Rough Cut, even though the Rough Cut's a solid blaster. But this is kind of just like an easier to use one. And yes, it does mark off 2 shots, but you can, of course, like, change that. And also, it's a very fun blaster. It works well. It feels really cool to use. And oh, I forgot I had this. Sorry, this is just something fun for something that I could make in the future. Yeah, maybe later. But like I said, this is a very solid blaster. Now, is it primary worthy? Who wants a 6-shot primary that's this size? At this size, you can get a strong arm, you can get a hammer shot and mod it to hold 6 shots. But still, it's a very fun blaster. Like, you can probably use this as a pretty cool secondary. Or if you, like, here's the thing. I've always say this. I personally think anything could be a primary. I've told you guys, King Cruzy went into a battle wielding a triad as his primary. And you guys know the triad? Yeah, that thing. It's 3 shots. And he was able to win with it. And me, heck, I've gone into battles like many times with just my hammer shot. But honestly, this would probably accommodate more of a secondary or target shooting. But I think a lot of people can wield this and have fun with it. But thank you guys so much for checking out my video. And of course, thank you guys so much for helping me reach the goal. We are now at 300 subscribers. Just hopefully we can keep that growing. And also stay tuned for this summer because in about a few weeks, production finally begins on Darth Deadpool 2 and The Shadow Shared by 3. And thank you guys so much for checking out that poll. That was definitely a fun one, but thank you guys so much. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Got more reviews coming your way, possibly some new and of course some oldies. But the Vagabond Spider-Man Miller shall see you later.